I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either.
The verdict on this travesty will not come in a courtroom. It will come at the ballot box, and the American people are going to find crooked Joe Biden guilty of trying to destroy our country. He's destroying our country.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Exactly, because the vaccine is 94 to 95% effective in preventing you from getting clinically apparent disease. But we don't know yet. We will know in some time as we do some follow-up studies. We do not know yet whether you can get infected and still be capable of transmitting it to someone else. Hence, the recommendation of wearing the mask even though you've been vaccinated. And right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they go out to fight? They leave their own to the poor. Yeah. Time will tell on their power minds, making war just for fun, treating people just like boys and chess. Wait till their judgment day comes.
This fool, this stupid fool took over, and we had that horrible airlift. He said, we'll never have anything like Vietnam. This thing blew Vietnam away with the people on the airplane from 3,000 feet up. They start falling off the plane. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I know them both very well. And we will restore peace through strength. Get that war settled. It's a bad war. And Putin, you know, has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word today. You've heard that, nuclear. He's starting to talk nuclear weapons today. I was waiting for that to happen. But we have a fool as a president. He said, we will never leave until there is complete and total victory. Then we might be there for a long time. Now we have a fool. I'll get that thing settled. I know both men very well. Remember that Zelensky was the one I was talking to on the phone. And when they called him, they said, no, he was a perfect gentleman. Remember, they said I was threatening him, quid pro quo, all bullshit. It was all made up. Then they heard, after they had given their whole case, they heard that the call was taped. I called the general saying, by any chance was my call to Zelensky taped? Yes, sir, it was. I said, you gotta be kidding. This is too good. Bring it up.
Now in darkness, world stops turning. Ashes where the body's burning. No more war pigs have the power. And as God has struck the hour, day of judgment, God is calling. On the knees, the war pigs crawling, begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh, Lord, yeah.
president, and I say this, I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours. I know Zelensky well. I know Putin well. I would get that ended in a period of
You can break that deal.
100%. It would be easy. That deal would be easy. A lot of it has to do with the money. A lot of it has to do with the military, that we're giving. But I would get that deal done within 24 hours. That war has to be stopped. That war is a disaster.
Final thought. Are you going to win next year?
I think we have a very good chance. The economy's not good. I'll make it good. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. Even Democrats, they say, well, we agree that Putin would have never gone in. He would have, I told him, you're not going in. Putin would have never gone into Ukraine. President Xi of China would never even be talking about Taiwan. We had that conversation strongly. I stopped North Korea from doing some really bad things, and my relationship with Kim Jong-un is very good. Who knows what's going to happen there? Iran was going to make a great deal. They were going to be happy. I was going to be happy. We're going to have a great relationship. Now they're out of control. They're totally out of control. This world is blowing up around us. It's blowing up around us. You may even lose the dollar as the standard throughout the world. And if you lose the dollar standard, that's like losing a war. In many ways, it's worse than losing a war. I think we have a very good chance. I think when people feel it in their pocketbooks. Everyone's saying, Trump's going to turn the economy around. I did it twice, if you think about it, because I did it after COVID. But we had the greatest economy in the history of the world, and I'll be able to do that again quickly and easily.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
You're all right. We continue another episode.
Yep.
Episode 10.
Episode 10. Same cues, different views. We are your host, Parabellum and Hex 7. I think we'll be joined by Big Country maybe a little later. He's going on vacation. He's catching a flight. But he's going to try to, excuse me for a second, my headphones are killing me. He's going to try to hop on.
That'd be great. We'll be able to catch him mid-flight, and maybe the attendant, hear him say, "Sir, you need to put your cell phone down."
I can't. I'm streaming.
I can't wait to hear his response to that.
But yeah, he may be joining us a little bit later. Crazy week. A lot of stuff's happened this week. Today was awesome with the House and the Senate. We can get into some of that here in a little bit. But I guess I don't know, anything you want to talk about before we jump into everything, or like
nothing much, man. It's just a big old
there?
week, dude. A lot of stuff coming down. Supreme Court decisions went down today. You had the Iran 12-day war, all of the stuff that went with that, the ceasefire and the interruption, and then the reassurance that the ceasefire is strong, and then the end of the 12-day war. It's a lot of things that are going down this week. A lot of stuff in Trump's favor. A lot of stuff that's good for him.
Especially the Abraham Accord. They're trying to expand the Abraham Accord, which would be great. Bring peace to the Middle East.
Absolutely.
Imagine what that would do for Trump. And
oh my gosh!
And imagine if what's his name, Ayatollah.
Yeah, it's JFK status, like in history. I mean, your name goes down if you can pull that off. Bottom line, already in my book, he is. But
if he can pull that off and bring him to Washington, to the White House for a visit, I mean, that's historic. There's nothing the left would be able to do after that.
Doing the impossible. Democrats will never be again for a good 20, 30 years ever have a chance of re-election. Never. Yeah,
I want to see it happen. I'm a fan of it.
Oh, I'm right with you on that one.
All right, so didn't mean to click that. That's what I meant to click. Financial news.
Yeah, that's on this week.
I want to give us a little quick introduction into what we got coming up in the financial news.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So there's in the last couple of weeks there hasn't been a whole lot. It's just been your average market going up, going down with everything that's going on in the world and all the big world events that I'm sure we're aware about. A lot of the big stuff that came down for financial news today. If you want to go ahead and pull up that next slide, I'll pull it up.
Okay.
Here we go. Stock market. That is some of the biggest things that's going on today. NASDAQ and the S&P 500 both hit historical highs today. Never has the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 ever been so high on the market. This is under the President Trump administration. You have 2 out of the 3, okay, that have broken records. Okay, Joe Biden didn't do it. Obama didn't do it. Any other president in history has never done it. This is under President Trump, that you see your economy growing. This is historical, man. This is a huge event for 2 out of 3 on the stock market to be able to break those highs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep. And a lot of things, not a lot of people's talking about it right now. And I know that we're a little bit away from it, but on this picture is actually a little bit older, but at the close of yesterday, and if you look at today, the Dow Jones soared yet another 432 points. S&P went up another 32 points, and the NASDAQ continued to go up as of right now, 105 points. And that puts them well above the records for S&P and NASDAQ. But the Dow Jones, so the highest record in history for the Dow Jones was a little bit above the 45,000 point margin. Okay. At the close of today, we're looking at President Trump's administration, this economy, 43,819 points in the Dow Jones. So to me, that's absolutely insane. So you've got the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 breaking records. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but I'll be keeping my eyes on it to see if this happens for Dow Jones as well. And then you got to shoot the moon effect. GDP and everything else will be able to follow that. Insane. So some of the big deals that have been going on, there's only been one big deal that's came across, and this is a little personal for anybody that lives in Kentucky. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of feelings about that. We're resided out of Kentucky, but this is General Electric Appliances announcing $490 million investment. GE, they're going to be able to move from China to Louisville, Kentucky. So what's insane about that, it's a $490 million investment. They're moving from China to Louisville, new jobs, 800 full-time jobs. Let me say that again. This is full-time jobs. It's not Joe Biden jobs where they put in, thousands upon thousands of part-time jobs and labeled them in their jobs report. It was a bunch of horse shit.
Mind you, all this is happening from a man that the left said was going to destroy the country. So, I mean, I just wanted to toss that out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And this is all supposed to be set and done by 2027. Of course, if you know anything about business, it does take time. If you know anything about making the economy better, it does take time. Politics, everything takes time. Patience is absolutely required. But as it stands, the biggest part about this for me is that if you paid attention to the economy and any kind of businesses, there's been a whole lot that's moved around maybe within the United States. Oh, we're moving out of a red state, we're moving to a blue state. We're moving out of a blue state, we're moving to a red state because we don't like the restrictions that Democrats put. That's the general conservative way. We don't like restrictions. You may have seen that a whole lot, and it may not seem like large news to you, but for me, this is one of the first incidences under the Trump administration where a huge business and a $490 million investment is actually internationally going overseas and leaving China to come to Louisville, Kentucky, to come into the United States. So you can just go ahead and bank on that there's going to be a whole lot more deals coming in the future. And that's what I got for financial stock news today,
I love it. I love it.
Man.
Well, we've also got this news that had came out that our old friend Big Balls.
Oh yeah.
Remember Big Balls?
Absolutely. Big Balls has came out, ladies and gentlemen, and resigned from the Doge chain. We do have a little video, right?
Yep. I can pull that up. 1 second.
All right, let's get right into it. If you've been anywhere near crypto Twitter lately, you've heard the news Big Balls, one of Dogecoin's most colorful and controversial community figures, has just resigned. Yeah, you heard that right. The guy who made wild memes, pumped up the community and trolled some of the biggest names in crypto just dropped the mic and walked away from Doge. So what happened? First off, let's talk about who Big Balls actually is. For those new to the game, Big Balls wasn't some shadowy dev or a suit on the Dogecoin Foundation. He was a hype man, part meme lord, part self-appointed spokesperson. He built a following by making Doge fun, weird, and just a little bit wild. Honestly, he made Doge feel like a party you never wanted to leave. So, why would someone like that resign? Here's where things get spicy. From what I've seen, the Doge community has been split lately. Some folks want to keep it pure fun and memes while others are pushing for more serious utility like payments and real-world adoption. Big Balls? He was definitely team meme. But as Doge started getting more attention, and the stakes got higher, the vibe started to change. Reports say Big Balls felt the pressure. There were rumors of internal drama, a few not-so-friendly DMs, and a whole bunch of people accusing him of being bad for the brand. Some even said he was holding Doge back. That's a lot to handle, even for the king of meme energy. So, he posted his resignation. Classic Big Balls style, no apologies, a couple of jokes, and even a final meme for the road. The Doge price wobbled a bit, Twitter lost its mind, but the real question is, what does this mean for Dogecoin? Here's my take. Doge has always been about the community. The memes, the jokes, the wild stunts, that's what made it different from every other crypto out there. Big Balls leaving is a big deal for morale. But at the same time, it's a chance for Doge to figure out what it wants to be next. Are we sticking with the memes? Or is Doge finally growing up and going corporate? The answer is probably somewhere in the middle. Either way, I'll be watching, and I know you will too. So hats off to Big Balls. Love him or hate him, he made Doge entertaining. And for crypto, that's no small feat. Smash that like button if you want more updates on all things Doge, and let me know in the comments, will Doge ever be the same without Big Balls? Catch you in the next one.
So Dogecoin, like I'd had some Dogecoin, you know, it's probably been a couple years ago. I bought some of it. With I'm not too familiar with a whole lot of the crypto stuff. I'd watched Bitcoin and I'd done, you know, some investment in Bitcoin, and we kind of made pretty good money off of that. But Doge is one I had some stock in for a while there, and then I ended up selling it out. That should be something that maybe we should possibly get back into and maybe start buying up some Doge. Wonder what the price of Doge is.
Well, that's actually what I'm pulling up right now. You give me a second, and I will share the screen.
All right. Saves me from looking it up.
All right, let me pull this up real quick. And we're just looking at, real quick, the Doja price. This is the year to date, what's happened. Give me 1 second to share screen.
Okay.
Oh, I got to remove something.
Oh,
there it is. Got
okay.
it. Okay. So I would not suggest getting in a Dogecoin at this moment. I am not any kind of stock financial advisor, buddy. But if you're looking at this is the year to date. And if you look at where it all started and it was all beautiful and everything, it's done nothing. Oh, wait, we had a little moment of clarity. And then here within June, it's just continuing to go down. It's 16 cents on the dollar, my friend, for Dogecoin. So that's rather low. Now,
Well,
if it does go back up, I don't know. You know, it is something to keep an eye on, but the picture looks rather bleak.
all right. I was just curious. I didn't know. Again, I'm not too familiar with the crypto stuff, but just didn't know if it was something maybe we should keep an eye on, maybe throw a little bit into and see where it goes.
Well, I know that the Trump administration and a lot of the conservative viewpoints, they are absolutely huge in with, you know, crypto and possibly, you know, promoting it as an alternative currency. They are huge on that, but they're also big on the gold bar and the American dollar as well. So I'm not sure really where to go with that one.
This one we'd brought up there just a second ago. You were talking about with GE.
Yeah.
Didn't we have a conversation about what was it, Ford last Friday?
Oh yeah,
Big Country was talking about Ford doing the same thing.
Yeah, there was. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Shit is turning around. I know with the tariffs and stuff like Ford's mentioned in the queues, along with tariffs and stuff like that. But did anybody see the news on what the tariffs have brought in to this point?
I did.
It was $88 billion.
$88 billion. And President Trump even got a phone call, just like if you remember in the first administration, sir, all this money's coming in and we don't know it's a repeat. Yet again, he got that phone call, and these guys have no idea what to do with the money that's coming in from these tariffs. And you got to add that into the equation as well. A lot of your Democratic viewpoints or your legacy media, they're not going to incorporate any kind of that information into this. And tariffs coming in and you look at GDP growth or its shrink, and they're looking at the value of the almighty dollar. You know, they're saying these things have gone down a little bit, and they may have gone down a little bit, but you know, have hope, have patience. These things are about to skyrocket. Look at NASDAQ, S&P, and 500. This shit's shooting through the roof. We're breaking records. It's going to follow.
Again, coming from a man who was supposedly going to destroy the country. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
As
agree
the,
with
as
you
the
on
left has been going out and destroying the country.
Yeah. Oh, that's their entire agenda all the way through.
But yeah, you had Ford, like we were talking about this. It was kind of the same situation. And then there was Hyundai. Is that one of the other ones that was coming, you know, bringing their plants to America? Or I think it seemed like I remember Trump having a meeting at the White House with the president of Hyundai. And
yeah, Hyundai Motor Group's they're expanding its investments in the United States, committing to a $21 billion investment from 2025 to 2028. So the investment aims to bolster its manufacturing capabilities, advance future technologies, and enhance energy infrastructure in the U.S. The investment includes a $9 billion expansion of automobile production. So you do have that as well. So you had Ford, you got Hyundai, you got GE. So what you're seeing is a lot of these businesses, you know, really invest into the Trump administration economy.
So think about that with the tariffs, like all these people, you know, bitching about the tariffs. The whole goal was to bring industry back to the United States.
Yeah.
We're going to put tariffs on your ass if you're going to put your factories in another country.
Absolutely.
You bring them back to the United States and help make America great again, then you're not going to have to worry about the tariffs.
Well, that's why it worked in the olden days. You know, that's why it worked, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s. Look, it was American steel. It was American manufacturing. Guess what you had? More bargaining power. You were able to bark orders. You were able to negotiate. You had more negotiating power just because your country, you was doing it in the United States. So when you went to the world stage, and I think President Trump understands this, and he's executing it perfectly. Yeah. It gives him nothing but negotiating power and ability to work these foreign leaders over and make them play fair. This is 5D chess, and the board at this point, it's been reset.
Amen, brother. Amen on that. Like, look, you know, back during the free trade deal.
Oh yeah,
had before. Look what that, you know, that kind of shit done to this country. You had Detroit at one time was a massive hub, you know, automaker. Not nice homes and everything, and then now you look at Detroit and it's a shithole. Well, yeah. I don't mean that as a, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
It's gone down from what it used to be, especially in the automobile industry.
I don't mean nothing against the people of Detroit, but the actual, like, they're suffering because of those trade agreements that were put into place then, and you know, there's whole entire blocks.
The automobile industry was devastated during the Biden administration.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
even before the Biden administration, it started just slowly sinking because of them trade deals that were put into place. And I think, like, with this tariff stuff that Trump has in place, that's going to bring cities back to life like Detroit.
Oh yeah, I think it absolutely will. That's the whole purpose of the Trump agenda is for the American people. And I think the Trump administration understands each and every individual state's needs and wants and priorities. And, you know, Michigan being the automobile industry, I mean, that's what they do. Pennsylvania's fracking. I think the Trump administration knows what America's strengths and weaknesses are, and they're absolutely playing to give America the best strengths, you know, possible to be able to have an economy that provides for the American people, so long as you could just muster up 2 cents worth of some freaking common sense, you know?
Yep. Let me, actually StreamYard had crashed on me at the beginning of the show. So
no.
Yeah. So I ended up having to reboot and jump back, or not reboot, but restart my browser and jump back into StreamYard. So
okay.
I'm kind of behind on uploading slides. I got carried away in conversation here.
That's okay.
Give me a second to get a couple of these slides uploaded.
Well, we've got plenty of videos we can play. What about Trump dropping that F-bomb? You want to go ahead and play that? Give you a minute, or you want to wait?
No, I think I'm good. I wanted to save that for the badass clips because I ended up taking that last night and making a video meme out of it and adding a little special sprinkle on the end of it.
That's good then. Okay, cool deal. We move forward, bub.
All right, so I guess we'll jump into what was it here? Oh yeah, AUTOPEN news.
Oh, this was wonderful.
Yep, Hustle Bitch had put this out on X, and AUTOPEN presidency Biden, Biden aide admits under oath she signed as the president for 20 months.
Wow.
So that had came out. So she was set to testify in a House oversight, and that testimony happened. And let me see if I could pull this clip up here. What was that?
Oh yeah, she was absolutely wonderful. Hi,
So-
I'm a Democrat. I use the AUTOPEN.
Yep. It was pretty much hello.
Don't hurt me.
I gave my testimony. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
she acts like she's hiding something from it, because she was questioned about it at the end of it. If you pay attention to this clip, she was questioned about Biden and the AUTOPEN, and was Biden mentally competent or somewhere along those lines. But she just
that's the Democrat mentality. They're worlds deep in the manipulative realm of how to work as a manipulative person in this world, and so much so that they think, well, I could just be honest and everybody will forgive me. Man, that's not how it works in the real world, dude. If you did something messed up, you're going to be held accountable, and that's at the end of the day somebody that has no biased opinion. We're going to hold you accountable regardless.
Oh, accountability is coming. I honestly think we're into the starting to get into the accountability phase.
Oh, we're balls deep in it, even though Doge has no balls. So
also, the accountability phase. I think I'd seen something about George Soros is going to be subpoenaed to Congress
testify
over the riots and funding them.
Oh, yeah. They've tried to get him there for a long time, and it's finally happened, ladies and gentlemen.
How about that
shit? Eyes on that.
Again, accountability phase.
George Soros' name comes up so much in all of, if you look in the conspiratorial view side of things, if you look into the conservative news side of things, if you just look into the right and wrong of things, George Soros' name is going to come up. I can promise you that. And it is an absolute, I'm grateful that this man's going to have to face some questions and a little bit of accountability. And we actually get a chance to read, this man's responses. Let me look you in the eyes and see if you're full of shit,
Yeah. It wasn't his money that he was actually funding this with, like out of pocket money. This came from a lot of his money came from
so a lot of NGOs, non-government organizations.
Yeah. That money was getting funneled into it. He was using that money to fund like the riots that we had back in 2020.
Yeah, under Democrats, NGOs is the new shell company, man.
Yep. And again, you got to look at the Democrats. The DNC's going broke right now. Why are they going broke? Because Doge and
they're
Trump
getting caught up,
cut the strings to all their funding.
Yeah,
like we said on last week's show, the Democrats are, looking at possibly borrowing money to keep the lights on. And if they don't get funding by midterms, one spokesperson for the DNC said they're pretty well fucked if they don't get some funding.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody's donating. But anyway, let's look at this clip, because I think with her, like, this shouldn't have been a behind doors hearing with her, or testimony with her.
Oh yeah, closed door hearing. Yeah, with no.
This should have been made public, because this concerns the whole United States and national security. And yet they closed it behind doors. And then she comes out and she gives this little bit here. And let's see, there it is. Let's get into it.
A brief comment. Thank you. I just spoke with the House Oversight Committee, Majority and Minority Council. I answered every question, was to discuss my service, and it was a thorough process, and I'm glad I answered every question.
Was there an effort to disguise
condition? Absolutely not.
Won that gold star for effort, you know what I mean?
He's like, I'm done here.
Well, I told the truth, and I answered all those questions, and I did good things, and
told the truth.
Yeah, like that's a Democrat right there. Yeah, you owe me something. I told the truth. Generally when people come out like that to me, that's a manipulative strike all the way from the get-go. If you think you are owed something for telling the truth, chances are you've lied your ass off for a long part of your life, lady.
Get out of here.
We don't owe you shit. Common sense people know that.
All right, so then we've got I think this was a news article. Yeah, I clipped this news article. They were talking about the all of this with it. Check this out.
You have Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson running around saying they have 200 sources. They can't tell them who they are, and they know who was running the White House.
Of course.
But I'm here to tell you, there's a 1972 Supreme Court case called Brandsburg v. Hayes, which says when you get a grand jury together, you can't hide behind the newsman's privilege. And I don't think Jake Tapper's a newsman anyways. It was a commercial exercise, a book that they sold to monetize their own cover-up. And so Tapper and Thompson were actually invited by the Senate to testify. They declined. My question is, Congress, where are the subpoenas? These people say they know, subpoena them. Second, and Senator Hawley hit on this, the White House keeps logs of who has access to use the AUTOPEN, who's authorized, and then logs of when it's used. Where are those logs? President Trump's calling out the AUTOPEN almost every single day. He did so again this morning. And so we're sitting here advising all of our friends in Congress and administration, get those logs. Those will be a good first step. And then next, look at the January 6th committee, what they were able to do to former Trump advisors. We're talking about the subpoena of bank records, of cell phone records, sitting in depositions. Comer's got a couple depositions coming up, but I want to see the scale and ferocity of what the January 6th committee has done. But you're right. We're in the danger zone. Congress could just say, we recognize there's a scandal. We want to associate with it so we can get on cable news and get a cool tweet out there. But we don't. That's what the Oversight Project's here to do. We get the facts out. We can push the narrative. You got the laws on your side and the power. You take it to the next level. We took it to the goal line. Just punch the football in. It's not hard.
All right. So I included some cues in there too. I don't know if you've seen them.
Oh yeah.
I had included one of them was CNN, or Q was talking about network names who are pretty much corrupt, and within that list, Jake Tapper is listed. I'd had this up on another show, and it had Gail King and Nora O'Donnell in it there too, but it's got a whole big list of them. But the other thing I'd put in there was, he was talking about the AUTOPEN, and Q said, follow the pen, think timing. Coincidence? Attacks will only get worse. And I do believe that the Democrats are a sinking ship. And if you're going after a criminal, I've heard this reference on X22 report, best reference ever. If you're going after a criminal, like a bank robber, and they're running from you, they're not going to just, put their hands up in the air and say, well, I give up. You got me. Here's the money back.
Yeah, no way.
They're going to fight, shoot, and go down until the very end. And that's what the Democratic Party is doing. And when Q said the attacks will only get worse, I think from here out until it's done, those attacks on Trump will only get worse. The attacks on the people, possibly riots, expect to possibly even get worse. I mean, that's my take on it. What's your thoughts on all this AUTOPEN stuff, Arabella?
Well, I think like what President Trump said, man, the AUTOPEN is probably one of the biggest scandals that's gone down in American history that hasn't quite fully come out yet. There's a lot of information that came out, and it is something that's definitely needs to be investigated. Will something ever come out of it? Who knows? We as conservatives, we're stuck in this never-ending loop of, oh, well, they've been talking, and they never hold accountability. But it's easy to fall into that loop, but I still have faith and I remain humble. I know accountability takes time and the good things take time. So I do hope that something comes out of this. They do continue to investigate. They find somebody and they prosecute the living shit out of them for using the AUTOPEN. It's absolute treason.
Yeah. Yep. I agree 100%.
It's probably a good time. This is the first time streaming on Rumble tonight. Maybe give a little bit of an idea of what this show is about.
Yeah, let's do that.
Go ahead, take the lead.
Okay. Show's called Same Cues, Different Views. I'm a Q guy. I'm no expert by any means on the drop. I get most of my information with the Q drops from various shows that I watch. X22 Report, Absolute Storm on Rumble, Brad and Abby show, and multiple others. There's a lot. It's hard to name them all, but I get a lot from that, and I get a lot from X, and that's how I've learned to look at the Q drops. Sometimes I'm right with, or not right, but sometimes I'm pretty close to what everybody else is thinking in the Q movement, what most other anons are thinking, and then sometimes I'm way off base. But again, Q only gave us crumbs, and we try to decipher them as best we can. anybody watching on Rumble that doesn't know what Q is, it was a military intel operation that started on 4chan and then moved to 8chan and then 8kun, and it was put into place to inform the people of what's to come and how we're going to take back the country. And that's kind of me in a nutshell. Again, I'm not an expert on Q. I just do the best I can with it. And then we got Parabellum, who is not a Q guy.
Not at all.
And he's more logical news. I'm not going to give his background. I'll let him do it, but I'll just give you a little quick summary here. He's more logical news. So we call it, he kind of queues up a lot of news, sends me news clips and stuff like that. And then when I've got an opportunity or I see something that connects to a drop, then I try to sprinkle a little Q on it. So he cues the news and I kind of cue some Q drops.
That's it. Yeah. So for me, on the Parabellum side of thing, just like Heck said, I am more conservative news. I don't believe in a lot of the Qs. I think there is some information that's worth taking a peek at, but I don't let it kind of consume my life or anything like that. I like to keep it logical. I'm more of the Tom Homan Kiss method. Keep it simple, stupid. Follow the people that have the appropriate facts and the conservative news outlets. And some of the people that are proven to tell you the truth with a conservative viewpoint, and just follow that. Follow the money. Follow the facts. And for me, that's just pretty much what I keep up with. But the beautiful thing about this show, very simple. There's a united front with Qs and conservative view thinkers, but there is also behind the scenes a little bit of a divisive viewpoint between Qs and conservatives. Okay. So this is one episode where you get to see two different views, two guys just go to work, take care of life. And we have different viewpoints, but we can still kind of, we can be friends and we are friends outside of this show and in everyday life. I'm pretty sure pretty soon we're getting ready to do a 4th of July party. So I can't wait for that. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
But the big thing I want to show the people is that even though you have a different viewpoint in the conservative party, you can still have friends with different views. You know where that doesn't exist? It does not exist in the Democratic Party. They are unanimous on everything that they vote on. And if you don't vote on it, they want to ruin your life. They want to destroy you. They want to destroy your reputation. They want to take everything you ever achieved in your life and take it away from you. That does not happen in the Democratic Party. So in this show, it's a little bit of something different, kind of coming from the conservative side of things.
We are all, as far as being on the conservative side of things, we are all on the same side. We all are fighting for the same thing, for this country to take our country back, regardless if you follow Q or if you're just a MAGA and logical news watcher, that kind of thing. Either way, we're all on the same side. And Q said, where we go one, we go all.
We go all. That's it, buddy.
And that should be a good motto. Again, regardless of, if you follow Q or don't follow Q, we're all on the same side. That should be a good motto for everybody. Where we go one, we go all. We're doing this together. We're trying to take back our country. We're trying to awake people, inform people. And it may be through news articles. It may be through Q drops, but, WWG1, WGA, baby.
Keep it simple, stupid. If it makes sense, it makes sense. We're just simple Southern people.
So
all right, Bob.
That's kind of a rundown of what Same Q's Different Views is. And again, we're 9 or 10 episodes deep. The first 9 episodes were streamed over on YouTube as we were trying to figure out the show and format and look and get a feel for what we're doing. We're new at this, so bear with us. We'll progress and hopefully we pick up a lot more followers and if you're watching on any platform, YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, please give us hit the thumbs up, give us a like, let us know. Anything you want to see on the show at any time, just, shoot it in the comments or live chat, let us know. We'll try to get to it. Maybe not this show, but, maybe a show later on down the road or the next show or something. But want to thank everybody for tuning in. But anyway, let's move on. You ready to move on to the next little segment we got here?
And always join the revolt.
Always join. Oh, I forgot to add that into the intro. I need to add that back. Join the revolt.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, robot voices. I got all kinds of effects over here, buddy. We're figuring things out.
That join the revolt, that came from Well, let me remove that from stage here. We're done talking about her, so let's get her ass out of here. So that Join the Revolt came from on the screen there right beside of our mascot that was AI generated.
I think we've kind of came down to unanimous Big Beautiful Bill, correct?
Yeah, the mascot's name is Big Beautiful Bill because look how beautiful he is. He's ugly as hell, but but
all the way around.
Anyway, that's our mascot. But Revolt, Join the Revolt came from in the background. It's got Revolt there, so I kind of was like, all right, how about the slogan Join the Revolt? But anyway, we'll move on to the next.
Jump into the next info.
Next info here. We got some Al Green news. He's kind of had a little bit of a bad time here.
Al Green, Lord of mercy, Democrat.
Let's see. Should I do the slide first or should I do the video?
Let's do the slide and then jump into the video.
Okay, here we go. Let's biggie size it. Let me remove the banner there. All right, so
not that one. There should be another one.
Oh, not that one.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. You got it together. That's correct. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. That was Al Green in the vote to impeach President Donald Trump. So this recently just came down. Al Green, he kind of started up an impeachment against Donald Trump in the middle of the Iran-Israel strikes and America getting involved. As you can see, I wish we could zoom in a little bit, but the Republican yeas on that, 216, nays 79. It absolutely failed in the Senate. It totally was a failed impeachment for President Donald Trump. As far as, one thing that I wanted to make sure to be able to tell people about Al Green is, maybe there's some people out there that support Al Green. He's an American songwriter, poet, and he's got a big, huge history and a huge following and things like that, especially in the Democratic side of the world. But he was absolutely decimated, destroyed, and made a fool of. A few things that I want people to know is the trouble that Al Green's got in trouble for. And since 2012, he's had multiple arrests. Okay. Recent reports indicate that Representative Al Green has been censured, but he was censured by the House of Representatives on March 6th. We all know about that. The censure resulted from his repeated interruptions of President Trump's address to a joint session of Congress 2 days earlier. Green had stood up and he kept shouting, "You have no mandate to cut Medicaid." Everybody that's anybody knows we're not cutting Medicaid. We're trying to take it away from the illegals that do not deserve Medicaid. There's a difference between taking away Medicaid from Americans and taking away from people who I feel don't deserve it. But nevertheless, 2021 arrest, he was arrested outside the U.S. Capitol while protesting a voting rights bill. According to Green, he and others were praying in the street when warned by Capitol Police. And he remained and was subsequently arrested for crowding, obstructing, or incommoding, along with two others. He was again arrested in 2012. He was arrested outside the Sudanese embassy in Washington, D.C. He was among a group of protesters, including the actor George Clooney. That was all over the news. They were demonstrating against Sudan's president and his actions regarding food aid and were charged with disorderly crossing of a police line. There was another controversy involving the former staffer, Al Green, and I think you'll find this one interesting, Hex, because I know you're on the Q side of things, but the controversy involving the former staffer, Al Green, 2008, a former staffer, Lucinda Daniels, accused Green of sexual assault. Green denied those allegations and filed a countersuit. The matter was resolved, and they both issued a joint statement in 2017. So this is the guy that is trying to impeach President Donald Trump. And there you go. He's 17, baby. Oh, no. Got to get it in.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the guy that's trying to impeach Trump. I've got a clip here of Al Green. If you want to watch it, it was the impeachment that, what he was bringing impeachment charges up there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's check this out and give it a play. It's 3 minutes and 38 seconds. So here we go.
Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. And I rise today in the name of government of the people, by the people, for the people. I rise today because our country is nearing a moment of decision. I rise because we are at the intersection of democracy and autocracy. I rise to announce that at this moment in time, I have filed HRES 537. HRES 537 is a privileged resolution. HRES 537 has been filed because I believe that the President of the United States has committed an impeachable act. HRES 57 addresses abuse of presidential powers by disregarding the separation of powers, devolving American democracy into an authoritarian government.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Power to declare war. Mr. Speaker, I take no delight in what I'm doing. I do this because I love my country. I do this because I understand that the Constitution is going to be meaningful or it will be meaningless. I do it because I understand that the President of the United States of America has a duty to consult Congress before taking this country to war. I do it because no one person should have the power to take over 300 million people to war without consulting with the Congress of the United States of America.
Yeah, pause that right there, buddy. That's some really important information.
If I do not,
I can't pause.
This authoritarian president that we currently have will continue to assume power. He has already instigated an assault on the citadel of democracy, the capital of the United States of America. He went so far as to pardon
You like my little Trump sprinkles I put in it?
who are actually involved in the assault. He has denied persons due process of the law.
The master troller,
I believe
President Trump.
that if we do not take immediate action, this authoritarian president will not only devolve the country into authoritarianism, I believe he is a would-be dictator who would become a dictator. So I today announce that later today,
Goddamn dictator.
articles of impeachment to the floor.
I had to throw that
I will
in.
call for a vote.
That's great.
I believe that the hour of decision is upon us, and we all have to decide. Are we going to go down and choose the path of democracy, or we allow ourselves to choose the low road of autocracy? I believe that this country has come too far to allow a single person to declare war without conferring with the Congress of the United States of America. This is where I stand. This is what I will do, and I do it in the name of my country that I love dearly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields. Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the president.
All right.
That is
I knew what
insane.
you were getting at there with that.
Oh,
when
the
you said
Obama
pause it.
information.
Yeah. How about that shit?
That's insane. Obama dropped over 26,000 bombs. I think it was 26,000 was the quote up there that you had. I'm not sure.
Yep.
Over 26,000 bombs on at least 7 different countries during his tenure. And I believe that was like.
And the Democrats never said shit. He never had to have congressional approval.
Right.
But all of a sudden Trump does it. No, it's awful. He's going to destroy the world.
Oh yeah, you know that again goes to the double standard that Democrats continue to try to put off, and you know it's absolutely ridiculous. So during the presidency of Barack Obama, the authorized airstrikes in 7 countries: Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Pakistan, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen.
Yep.
Okay. Trump took out 3 nuclear facilities, and if you look at the foreign leaders' responses from all around the world, they tout President Trump a hero. Bottom line, if it's France, if it's China, if it's Australia, if it's wherever you want to look, they're touting Israel. They're touting President Trump as an absolute hero for destroying the #1 terror organization group that's out there, Iran, you know, with their death to America chants and all their negative stuff that they've done for over 30 plus years. You know, President Trump's a hero, but yet you're going to have Democrats and people like Al Green, they're trying to impeach President Trump yet again.
Yep. Again, top of the show, we were talking about the Abraham Accord. and it being expanded. If Trump does that, like he's going to go down a legend, especially if Ayatollah comes, to the White House.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Kim Jong-un, that whole incident with Trump, where Trump got to go across the border there in North Korea, and all the stuff he got to do there, like that was historic at that time. This is it'll blow that away. I think they were talking about this last night. Like I was rewatching last night's episode. I didn't get to watch it live last night, but last night's episode of Absolute Storm over on Rumble. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know anything Q related, two guys that's far better than I am with the drops is Stormy Patriot Joe and Absolute 1776 that host the show Absolute Storm. Go look them up on Rumble, give them a follow, and watch if you want to learn the Q stuff. I consider them probably top when it comes to the Q drops. But anyway,
absolutely. If you're looking for conservative viewpoints, you absolutely got to go out and get your subscription for Newsmax, because these guys have done it. They give you an absolute conservative and fair viewpoint. They don't tell you what to think, and they're going to give you the information once all the facts have been collected, and then give you a full and fair report.
I like Newsmax, but I kind of follow a lot of Fox News more, because Fox News anchors are heavily mentioned in the Qs. So I kind of stick more. I watch all the other bullshit ones too, like CBS.
I can tell you there's a war between Fox News and Newsmax, and Newsmax can't stand Fox and President Trump. They always err in all of their commercials. They say, hey, Fox News ain't even got it right 100% of the times, but Newsmax, terrific. So that would be from my viewpoint. I'd say if you're going to look for more President Trump oriented, conservative, logical news, definitely check out Newsmax. They have some great journalists.
I was getting at a point there and forgot what I was getting at after we got off on other subjects.
Hey, that's our similar cues, same cues, different views, kind of really coming out. No, follow Newsmax, you motherfucker.
And there is a little bit of extreme language here every now and then. We try to keep it down to a minimum. But
sorry about that.
One of us will drop the F-bomb every once in a while when we're trying to get a point across. Or
even Trump does that.
And we'll get to that. But one of us drops the F-bomb every once in a while, either to get a point across or to, jokingly, it kind of slips out. So we try to keep it to a minimum. I try to make sure I have the show set not for children whenever I go live. But anyway, let's see what become of old Al Green's push to impeach Trump. You want to give that a read, Parabellum?
No, the articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump, introduced by Representative Al Green, Democrat, did not pass in the House of Representatives.
That's pretty much all we need to know. You can continue if you want.
Democrats sided, with Republicans on this. They only got 79 votes. Even Democrats, sided that you should not impeach President Donald Trump over this. So that's saying something in today's world that's so divided and divisive between Republican and Democrat points of views.
It's a great awakening. People starting to wake up and realize that this left-wing woke ideology bullshit is not going to work. I came to work this morning, and my brother-in-law was standing there, and he had a video clip from where was it? I wanted to dig into it. I didn't get a chance to, but oh wait, have we got Big Country on here?
The Big Country show. I was getting ready to ask you if Big Country is going to show up tonight.
One second. He just texted me. Let me see what he said here.
All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's going to jump on just for a second. He's getting ready to board the plane. He wants to jump on and say hi.
All right. That'd be great,
buddy.
We'll let it dedicate to Big Country's point of view for that little segment that he has, and we'll try to help our buddy out during that time. Is that the plan?
Oh wait, maybe he did jump in there. Maybe we missed him.
Hold on a second. No.
Let me see here. Let me ask him.
Okay. Well, can I play the bunker bomb video I sent you?
1 second here. Anyway, I was getting another point there, and then I got sidetracked again. Damn.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We're trying to get Big Country in here. You know?
It's like going down rabbit holes. Oh, look at that one. Let's go down it.
You know a lot about that, don't you, Higgs?
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, he said he had already jumped on and seen our dictator video.
Oh yeah, that was great.
But he said to tell you, let's see, that he's sorry he couldn't stay longer. They're getting ready to board. They're getting ready to board the plane. But
yeah, they told him to put his cell phone to off.
Big Country is my brother, and if you're listening, Big Country, have a good vacation. Be safe. God bless. And we understand that you couldn't jump on tonight. Love you.
Take care, buddy.
Okay, doke. So we were doing the Al
Green was just putting the information out that it absolutely was shot to teetotal crap. And not even the Democrats were having it.
Yep.
Pretty much what came of that.
So we could jump into our next little bit of news here if you want to, or we could go down this little rabbit hole. I don't know. We were going to do it. It's in the lineup. Maybe we should do it. I was hoping we could have Big Country on for this because this is more his forte. I'm going to try to walk us through it, but let's go down the rabbit hole again.
Okay. And keep in mind, guys, we do have some of the Supreme Court decisions that came down today. We're going to be going over that a little bit later on in the show. Okay.
Let's see. Let's find. Oh, here we go. Let's jump into this. All right, I'm trying to get ready here for the rabbit hole. Like,
getting ready for the rabbit hole.
You got to have.
Lord.
Oh, hold on a second. Let's do it this way.
Tinfoil hats.
Yeah. Because you got to protect your.
You'd love this. He's got a tinfoil hat on. It's great.
You've got to protect your cranium with this rabbit hole stuff because it goes deep sometimes.
Did that come from the UFO segment?
This?
Yeah.
No, just dollar store.
Oh, dollar store. I get it.
Oh wait, we got Big Country. He's on.
Big Country.
Big Country to stage. All right.
Look at here. Look, he's got his tinfoil hat on, Big Country. He's ready to go down some rabbit holes.
You got enough time to go through the weather manipulation a little bit? It's probably going to be about 15, 20 minutes.
He can't hardly hear right now. He's in the airport.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
Well,
we got Big Country some headphones for his travel arrangements.
Yeah. We'll have to use some funding to get you a headset. All right, so we're gonna go down this rabbit hole here. Let's start out with last week. We had watched a clip of Heckle. He was talking about the whole weather manipulation. Well, I kind of put a little bit of that clip into a new clip that I'd found, and it's relating to RICO. And this also ties back into Raytheon. Like last week, we were talking about Raytheon. So this kind of ties back into Raytheon too, when you had that dude talking about, how he was like blowing the whistle on Raytheon. But let's give this a play and check it out.
All right.
In 1987, physicist Bernard Eastland filed a patent titled Method and Apparatus for Altering a Region in the Earth's Atmosphere, Ionosphere, and/or Magnetosphere. The patent described a facility that could heat specific ionosphere portions using radio waves. Eastland wasn't working alone. RICO Technologies funded his research. RICO owned vast natural gas reserves in Alaska's North Slope, but had no buyers. They saw Eastland's invention as a way to convert their gas into something valuable, power. And Eastland's technology needed lots of power.
RICO originally approached me in 1984 to find a use for the natural gas on the North Slope of Alaska, which they could not sell. To give you a feel for how much gas they asked me to find an application for, it was enough gas to produce all the electricity in the United States for a full year.
The technology is straightforward. a powerful radio signal is transmitted into the ionosphere targeting a specific region.
Targeting a specific region. Targeting a specific region.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, how did it even come to your attention that this triggered an earthquake? If you're at the South Pole and New Zealand had an earthquake, I mean, how did you know it came from the South Pole?
This is like inserting a resistor into a global electrical circuit. The lens could create effects thousands of miles away from the transmission site.
That we accidentally hit Church New Zealand twice when they were trying to fire up this weapon for the first time. That it was friendly fire. It was not on purpose, but it occurred. That the system is designed for that. And it was just...
Within a year of Eastland's patent filing, RICO was awarded a contract to build a similar facility in Alaska. When locals read about it in the March 1988 Omni magazine, they grew concerned. The military insisted they were building a research facility, nothing more.
Do not believe the government.
They didn't. They looked up Eastland's patent and the language was crystal clear.
Applications discussed in the patents included destroying missiles. Communications control and disruption were included. There were some other ideas, both to possibly modify weather and finally to lift a portion of the upper atmosphere further out into space where hopefully it would be able to deflect missile trajectories.
Those are Eastland's own words. This wasn't an invention for ionospheric research. As HAARP rose in the Alaskan wilderness, the military's intentions were obvious. They weren't just studying the sky, they were weaponizing it.
Protect your goldfish.
Okay, so that was kind of wild.
Sorry.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us, big country? You still laughing at my protection?
I am. I don't know if my voice come through, but at the end of that was my robot voice. Protect your goldfish.
Yeah, it comes through.
That was great, dude.
It's my head condom. So anyway,
that's
the whole weather manipulation thing, he was talking about ARCO, and one of the things that I was wondering that night after when I first watched that was from the Y-Files on YouTube, which is a good show to watch. They've got some really good. He puts out some really good content, and the goldfish is funny too. But I
loved it. Yeah, had the tinfoil hat, same as Hex. It was right.
Yeah. Well, little salute to Y-Files there. But anyway, so I was looking to see if there was a connection between Raytheon and ARCO, and I'd found it was hard to find some stuff to try to connect the two together, but apparently they are really connected together. The name of the guy that he mentioned also is part of that connection. What the heck was his name? Anyway, we'll get to it in a second. But anyway, Raytheon is a major U.S. defense contractor. And I've highlighted some stuff in green here that was kind of pertains to Raytheon, which we talked about on last week's show. Raytheon specializes in the development of advanced defense systems, including missiles, sensors, cybersecurity, and cybersecurity solutions. ARCO technology focuses on fuel cell and electrolyzer technology, particularly for heavy transport of materials, material handling, including aerospace and defense applications. So one of the things that kind of stood out to me in that, I don't know if that's exactly the same thing, maybe with what aircraft are using, but it said fuel cells, which made me think of the chemtrails that we had talked about on last week's show. But anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. And they're also a defense contractor. RTX, down here at the bottom of the screen, which I got highlighted in green, RTX is Raytheon, is exploring sustainable aviation initiatives. Yep. Including the use of sustainable aviation fuel. So that kind of like sparked my interest. Okay, sustainable aviation fuel. Again, I thought, okay, chemtrails. So that was pretty cool. I'm going to pull this one up if you want to give the green section a read, and like the orange sections, you can, you know, kind of emphasize a little bit. Mainly the orange sections is what I was looking at.
Okay. You want me to read it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what is this? This is a little bit more.
Okay, so this came from it's into the same thing, and it's with how Raytheon and ARCO technologies actually connect. This is where I found the connection, and this was from oilprice.com, and that L. McCann is the one that had put this out there. So again, this is where I was starting to make my connection, where I found the connection. So
okay, I'll go ahead and read the orange. You want me to read the green as well, or
just if you want to read the whole thing from the green.
Okay, I got you. If you did not enjoy traditional chemtrails raining down on you, you're not going to like the new version, which the United States Air Force promises will feature aerial dumps of programmable smart molecules, tens of thousands of times smaller than the particles already landing people in emergency rooms with respiratory, heart, and gastrointestinal complaints. Under development since 1995, the military's goal is to install microprocessors incorporating gigaflops computer capability into smart particles, the size of a single molecule. Invisible, except under the magnification of powerful microscopes. These nano-sized radio-controlled chips are now being made out of monoatomic gold particles, networked together on the ground or assembling in the air. Thousands of sensors will link into a single supercomputer no larger than a grain of sand. Brought to you by the same military corporate banking complex that runs America's permanent wars. Raytheon Corp is already profiting from new weather warfare technologies. The world's fourth largest military weapons maker bought E-Systems in 1995. Just 1 year after that, military contractor bought APTI holder of Bernard Eastland's HAA HARP patents.
Okay, so Bernard Eastland, ATPI holder Bernard Eastland, you know, his HARP patents. So let's take a peek at this next little slide I've got here, and let's take a look where APTI came from. APTI was founded in the late 1980s by Atlantic Richfield Company, ARCO, and initially involved the High Frequency Activity Aurora Research Project, HARP. So there's your connection with Raytheon and ARCO. Raytheon had bought out those patents. I think.
Oh, wow.
So, and then again, like, you know, Raytheon with the jet fuel and stuff like that made me think of chemtrails.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a, oh wait, I'm like a sales pitch guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of mixed signals and different views about that out there. So the chemtrails, you have two different views, right? You got people saying that chemtrails are being, sprayed out there in aerosol, and you got some people that say that they're not, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Let me see if I got this next clip loaded up. I wanted to give a little bit of background. No, I guess I don't. Let me load that up real quick. I guess we ran out of room on the right side, so 1 second. There we go, and pop this up there. Bada bing, bada bam.
I'll go ahead and remove the Big Balls video.
They control the weather.
So I wanted to give people a little background on HARP, so people that's new to this can understand exactly what HARP is and what it has done and what it's capable of doing. So I'd clip this little segment from a documentary. So let's give it a play here.
They control the weather. They mine the oceans. They control volcanoes. They control earthquakes. We are now witnessing the greatest transition in the history of the human race. Transition from type 0 to type 1. The generation now alive is privileged to see the birth pangs of the birth of a new civilization.
And Venezuelan leader Hugo Chavez has once again accused the United States of playing God. But this time it's Haiti's disastrous earthquake that he thinks the U.S. was behind. Spanish newspaper ABC quotes Chavez as saying that the U.S. Navy launched a weapon capable of inducing a powerful earthquake off the shore of Haiti. He adds that this time it was only a drill, and the final target is destroying and taking over Iran. The existence of a tectonic weapon has never been proved, but its use is often suspected.
Last year, I confronted Heizo Takenaka, the former Japanese finance minister, over why he handed over control of the Japanese financial system to a group of American and European oligarchs. He and his envoy told me that it was because Japan had been threatened by an earthquake machine. I did not believe it at the time. However, when I started exposing some of their doings, I was told by the Japanese security police that because of what I had said on places like Rents.com, that Niigata City was going to be hit by an earthquake. 2 days later, Japan's largest nuclear reactor was the exact epicenter of 2 earthquakes, both 6.8 in magnitude. Japan just had a very, very friendly summit meeting with China where the emperor met the Chinese leader 3 times.
There is a possibility a part of Japan will sink. It will not be an accident. It will be created by the world government.
Tonight, breaking news, Japan's tsunami disaster. A huge quake triggers chaos as people flee swaying buildings and city fires.
That was too much of a coincidence for me. So I started doing research and found out about HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. And I realized that they really did know how to make earthquakes. And they do it by shooting a 1 billion-watt microwave into the ionosphere, which is the part of the atmosphere that has a lot of energy in it. That pushes the ionosphere up into outer space, and then it rebounds. And the way it rebounds can cause earthquakes. Just like an opera singer can break a glass by singing at a certain level, or by dragging your fingernails on a blackboard, you feel a weird sensation. If they adjust the vibration for the rock underneath their target site, they can do that.
Originally approached me in 1984 to find a use for the natural gas on the North Slope of Alaska, which they could not sell. To give you a feel for how much gas they asked me to find an application for, it was enough gas to produce all the electricity in the United States for a full year. I originated some ideas for military applications and unofficial civilian applications. Applications discussed in the patents included destroying missiles. Communications control and disruption were included. There were some other ideas both to possibly modify weather and finally to lift a portion of the upper atmosphere further out into space. I chose what's called a phased array antenna for the patents because it can be aimed. Picture holding your microwave oven in your hands with the door open. Then you can move it around and send those microwaves different directions. And for these applications where I wanted precise control of where the power was, I felt that was the best type of antenna to use. And that is the kind that HAARP has built.
HAARP can paint designs in the sky, if you will. You know, it can take the beam and move it in any pattern that the scientist who's doing an experiment might want to do.
tested. If you beamed it for an hour and a half, that would equal the energy in a hydrogen bomb. After I had actually left the program in 1987, one of the last communications I had with RICO indicated that there had been a contract awarded for ionospheric warfare studies.
And remember, a billion-watt microwave. What does microwave do to water? It heats it up. Now imagine if you put 1 billion watts into a tropical storm. You could make it much bigger.
3 hurricanes, 3 of them at one time.
Now after the earthquakes hit Niigata, a member of the Inagawa crime family, which is based in around the U.S. Yokosuka Air Base, and members of the Inagawa family have told me that their big boss is George Bush Sr. In other words, they work for Skull and Bones. And they invited me to a so-called UFO gathering where they showed me the video of this blob. They told me it was a UFO, but it was obviously, to me anyway, a plasma weapon, or a ball of heat created by something like a 1 billion-watt microwave. And I predicted in my blog that there would be videos of lights found above China before the earthquake. And those videos then appeared on the internet after I predicted they would. And furthermore, a Taiwanese satellite detected a 50% drop in the ionosphere, in the amount of electric energy in the ionosphere above the earthquake zone. Now, a 50% drop would be exactly what would happen with HARP. It would push the ionosphere up, and then it would slam back down.
The instant that we energized it, there was between a 4 and 4.5 on the Richter scale earthquake that occurred. We were so amazed about what seemed to be cause and effect. We get to an area that has a high propensity for earthquakes, in an area known as the megathrust of the Pacific Northwest. We turn it on, and an earthquake occurs.
Is it more than coincidence that since going online, some experts have reported strange weather anomalies, including massive floods, hurricanes, and earthquakes? HARP went online in 1994, and construction continued until 2007. There are reportedly a total of 5 known ionospheric heaters, including HARP, in the world today. There are possibly 20 other ionospheric heaters in existence all over the world.
All right.
Holy hell, that was a rabbit hole and a half.
Yeah. I told you.
Oh, dude. I didn't know if I was coming out of there.
you should have put your tinfoil hat on, dude. I'm telling you.
Could have been. I thought this was made of tinfoil, but camouflage apparently doesn't work against rabbit holes.
No, you got to have the tinfoil. That's what helps. We've got one more little rabbit hole. If you maybe you want to put 2 camouflage hats on, maybe that'll help.
Oh Lord.
Big Country had sent this to me, and it's based off of the 5G stuff that we were talking about on last week's show. And well, let's just watch it. Check it out.
Yeah, 5G, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Gotcha.
Yep.
You know what this is, and you also know what this is. But do you know about U.S. patent 11,107,588 B2? Let's dive deeper. You can also look at the date here. August 31st of 2021 is when this patent was accepted, but they actually filed for it in late 2020. I'm going to leave the link in the comments, but essentially the abstract of this patent is to generate an ID in proximity to another electronic device or both electronic devices, and it's going to actually generate information about the likelihood of someone transmitting pathogens to another person in a public setting or just by close contact. Now, they claim that it doesn't involve any use of the vaccines causing this connectivity, but here's a little graphic that they leave in the patent. But essentially, they want to decide who's going to be the super spreader versus a non-super spreader. So this is where it gets weird. Of course, they claim that the vaccine does not contain any of this nanotechnology or graphene oxide to actually make this happen. But there's over 18,500 resources that they want to use this technology for. The way that I interpret the patent, and please go and check it out yourself, but essentially it sounds like to me that they have essentially quantum linked everybody who's had the you-know-what to the first picture I showed you, none other than cell towers. And essentially the vaccinated are now walking transmitters for Bluetooth connection, which I have also seen many other videos, and as well myself found vaccinated individuals using a Bluetooth scanner, and it's freaky accurate. If you want to try it out for yourself, this is the one that I've actually used, and it will show you Bluetooth transmissions from electronics of all kinds and unfortunately vaccinated people. So with all that being said, you need to go download this app right here if you want to make sure that you are connecting with people who aren't connecting to a whole different type of transmission. So stay free, stay natural, and stay injected.
Oh my Lord, bro.
Yeah, how about that shit? I told you should have put 2 camouflage hats on.
I don't know if I can get down with that one, big dog. That one's out there. That's some crazy.
That's some rabbit hole shit. I mean, like,
she
again,
like she was selling Maybelline or Avon or some bullshit.
Again, you guys, you know, make of this what you will. Do your own homework, own research, do your own digging on it. Me, I'm a firm believer that, you know, weather modification is real. And I'm a firm believer that, you know, this whole entire thing with what we're breathing into our bodies due to these chemtrails with the metallics, the aluminum, and you know, all those other metallics that we're breathing in. I'm a firm believer that that's affecting us. And the whole 5G thing, I'm really starting to lean into that a little bit more.
I believe they got the ability to mimic, but not yet quite manipulate. That's kind of where I stand, I guess, on my conservative viewpoint. I think they can mimic it like lightning strike here, you know, key on a kite. Poof, you know. But I don't know if they have the ability fully yet to manipulate it. I still have some questions for myself to be able to go down.
You just need to you need to dig a little more, and
yeah, I'll dig. I mean, I'll check because I'm open to looking at all points of view and everything like that.
If you want, I'll bring this to work Monday, and I'll give it to Bev. That way Bev can give it to you, and you can get you a shovel, and you can start going down that rabbit hole and digging and looking.
That'll be great. You know, hey, I will take the commemorative aluminum foil hat from Hex 7.
It's a one of a kind. If you don't take it, I'm going to sell it on eBay.
I'll find it in the back alley somewhere. Somebody smoking crack out of it. That's horrible.
Back in the high school days, I used to use that shit to
put. Not how you use this hat.
Make a little thing for my weed back in the high school days.
There you go.
Back when I used to do that shit.
It's the inappropriate way to use this hat, ladies and gentlemen.
But I recommend using it for your cranium.
Well, that's what they would say too.
I didn't design that hat over there to smoke drugs out of. All right, let's see, what do we got up next? We got some Diddy stuff. You want to get into this Diddy stuff?
Oh, now did he do it? Yeah, he did. Let's check it out,
man. I was going to make that graphic. Did he get his RICO charges dropped? But I didn't get a chance to make it. Like, again, I was up till 2 in the morning putting this stuff together last night.
Yeah, so Diddy is in some serious, yeah, he's definitely in some serious stuff, but there's some new news coming out. So Sean Diddy Combs charges, right? So initially the report that came out with this Hex was that all of the charges were dropped and the entire world freaked out. Like, you had people losing their minds, okay? They're like, absolutely, it was reported incorrectly from the get-go. You get that from a lot of the legacy media. You get people jumping the gun and they report information, right? They're saying that Sean Diddy Combs' charges were dropped, specifically for racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. A lot of people came out and said that this was dropped. Was that the case, Hex, or was it not?
What I was thinking with this, and like a lot of stuff I've seen, is that these charges were not really dropped. They were consolidated to simplify the case for the jury. So these charges are still there, and people were losing their mind. Like you said, people were losing their minds over it.
I agree.
We've got a little clip here if you want me to.
Yeah, well, what this clip does is it basically, when the initial reports came out, guys, and the world was losing their mind saying, Diddy's talking, he's getting ready to throw names, he's dropping people, he's making deals, Diddy walk, Diddy talk, all those puns were coming out. But this video I did appreciate because they said, hold on, people, pump the brakes. Let's look at the logical facts of this situation. And it does go into kind of curtail and detail a little bit of what the truth of the matter is with the Diddy. So
before we jump into it, like you were talking about there, Diddy.
Yeah, Diddy.
It's all right. No, it ain't all right to be Diddy.
Diddy. Oh, Tootsie Roll comment. There we go.
You're echoing like really. You got reverb turned on.
Hold on. How's that? Is that any better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. No, I had a different effect was on voice percussion instead of regular, so I appreciate that.
Okay. Anyway, like you were talking about Diddy there, making deals, and I think Diddy will probably end up doing some time over this. But I think, again, Diddy is just a link in the chain. He's not the kingpin in this whole thing.
Yeah, I gotta get down with you on that.
And I think Diddy's probably going to end up making some deals. Hold on, I'm trying to reposition here. My legs are getting numb. But I think Diddy's going to make some deals, possibly. And
yeah, maybe reveal who killed Tupac. I doubt that.
Well, maybe not that, but like I think he's going to, again, Diddy's a link in the chain. So there's higher ups above him, and I think Diddy could possibly lead to opening up cases to some of these higher ups, and it may end up going all the way up to let's say HRC or Obama or
there's always possibility. I don't put possibilities past nothing.
So that's my speculation behind it. But anyway, let's get into this clip here.
Well, today in court, prosecutors are using Sean Diddy Combs' own words against him. They replayed a voice message they say he sent an ex-girlfriend where he told her if she didn't participate in these sex marathons or freak-offs, as he called them, he wouldn't pay her rent. Watch.
I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you could be mad, I could have a spat, we could have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really, that's all it is.
So that was played over the speakers as Sean Diddy Combs sat in front of a judge. The 55-year-old wearing a blue sweater. He has some gray hair now. He looks a lot different. Listening closely to those closing arguments. He's facing life behind bars in this racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution case that the entire country and world has been watching. He's accused of running a criminal enterprise for more than a decade. Prosecutors say he forced his girlfriend to take part in drug-fueled sex marathons. Those were the freak-offs. They say they lasted for days, hiring male escorts and forcing those victims to bring the drugs, like what you're looking at, across state lines to these parties. Diddy's lawyers say these were consensual sexual encounters, but prosecutors say they have tapes that prove otherwise. And I want to warn you, it's graphic. Let's pull up the surveillance video. It shows the rapper beating up his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, after prosecutors say she tried to escape from one of those freak-offs. He grabs her, throws her to the ground, and kicks her before he drags her back into the room. That happened in a California hotel in 2016. As the prosecution wraps up their closing arguments back out here live, the defense is preparing.
Okay.
Wow. So I know that the defense has rested as far as the Diddy case goes, and we're waiting to see what it's going to be.
So this is kind of what I was saying here a moment ago, that they kind of want to dumb down the elements of the RICO charges to simplify it for the jury. The charges are still there, people. Don't panic. I do actually think that he's probably going to serve some time over this, maybe 15, 20 years. I'm guessing that's just my speculation. maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he won't serve any time over there.
Well, yeah, that's something that I'm watching because, as somebody who once did, served a calendar year in jail and a little bit, off and on, I'm looking to see if this guy cuts deals or not. And I think the rest of the world is as well. So if he gets next to no time, we are going to question whether he cut deals. We're going to look and see, are there papers on the glass window from old Diddy, and just see kind of what happens out of this whole ordeal. I think the world is definitely watching.
Yeah. I agree. You got anything else on this, or
no? One of the big phrases that came out as far as this Diddy trial, and that I think is just great, is the itty bitty Diddy committee. It would. Hey, I don't know if you know what we're talking about. If you do, you do. But if you don't, you can just imagine unwrapping a Tootsie Roll. Apparently, he has the smallest penis you had ever seen on a black man in life, and I'm just going to put it out there for you guys on Rumble and YouTube. Go and check the videos of everybody talking about the itty bitty Diddy committee. Coming to you from a white man.
All right. Moving on.
I got problems, yo.
We all do. Anyway, we've got some I wanted to put this out there. It's some Q plus Trump and Q plus. I kind of wanted to talk about this. Trump had made a post on Truth Social the 25th, and it kind of made me think of two particular Q drops. And I'll pull this up here. Let me biggie size it. There's Trump's post, and he says, "Congratulations, world. It's time for peace." And he had made that on Truth Social, on his, Truth Social account. But it made me think of Q34 and 35. Q34 on the far right side of your screen says, "My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light." So, Trump, congratulations, world. It's time for peace. And then Q talking about that, we're taking back our country, and not just the country. You've got Israel right now. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I seen a thing today that Israel was, the military was getting behind the people in Israel, and that connects to a Q drop too. I think maybe it was News Trees and Dave or something that posted that on X. I meant to clip that to use it, but anyway, you got Israel standing up. They're wanting peace. You've got I think it was, I can't remember the country, but my brother-in-law, I talked about this a minute ago, but my brother-in-law, when I got to work this morning, was showing me a clip of another country. They were having an uprising with all the illegals in the country, against them. Get them out of the country. Get them out of the country. They're ruining our country. They're destroying our country. And I think this is the same thing all over the world right now. The Great Awakening is worldwide. And I think a lot of these countries are starting to wake up, and they're, fighting back.
Well, I think a lot of that was that was the bombing of the 3 nuclear facilities that President Trump was a part of. He absolutely got people in the world and all the foreign leaders and every party that was involved in this to understand now it's time for peace. The threat, if you knew it was there, if you didn't, if you cared or if you didn't, it was a huge threat that they had nuclear enrichment and nuclear capabilities. They were very close, but now that's done and it's time for peace. I think President Trump had the biggest role in this entire ordeal.
It is. And, again, with Q34, we're taking back our country. It's not just our country, it's the world. Everybody in the world's sick of this globalist elite, that rules and controls everything, able to pull strings and make war to push an agenda wherever they want to because of them going into countries and installing puppet government systems. Like, everybody's sick of it. It's time for peace. It's like Trump says, the golden age. But the other Q drop that it reminded me of was Q35, and I've got highlighted. It's in the center of your screen there, and it says, "It's time to take back our country and make America great again." Which, like Trump says in his post, "Congratulations, world. It's time for peace."
Yeah,
but
I think President Trump's the best at that, dude.
Let me. So I've got Trump. This slide, Q plus Trump, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Let's look back at Q35 and look at the bottom of Q35. If you can see it there, it says,
For God's
that's
go
my
ahead.
fellow Americans, 4-10-20. Do you know what 4-10-20 is?
Nope.
So you convert 4-10-20 to alphabet. It's DJT.
Oh, okay. Cool deal.
Q plus.
That's cute. Sorry, man.
Same cues, different views.
That's how we do this shit, man.
Yeah. So anyway, something else that had came out. I'm only going to go over a couple little Q things here that came out this week that kind of like piqued my attention. I'd seen, post about it on X. So the other thing that came out this week, let me remove that. There we go. Ezra Cohen, he had posted all of the, all this OSINT experts talking about, and mind you, this is back, whenever earlier this week when the whole Israel bombing and stuff went down. But all these experts talking about recent events reminds me of this excellent video from Fourth POG. Do you know what Fourth POG is?
You talking about the Fourth PSYOP group?
Fourth PSYOP group. So the Fourth PSYOP group goes back, if I'm not mistaken, I think we talked about this on a show previously, one of our previous episodes, but the Fourth PSYOP group, if I'm not mistaken, traces all the way back to World War II, back when they would try to fool the Germans by blowing up inflatable looking, real life looking tanks and inflatable troop transports and airplanes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were kind of considered the ghost army. The Fourth PSYOP group was. So, and we had featured this video. It was probably maybe 4, 5, 6 episodes ago. It was played at the beginning, like right after our intro played. I'd played this Ghost in the Machine video, but he's pointing at this Ghost in the Machine video, and I'm not going to play that because we're about to run out of time. So we may play that again later. But he posted this 6/22/2025. If you look down there, I've got it highlighted in green. So excuse me. So I'd made this post on Facebook, Q Delta alert. And this is on your upper right side of the screen. Intelligence official Ezra Cohen had posted on 6/22/2025 the following. And I kind of quoted his little statement he had there in his post. Then he posted the link to the Ghost in the Machine video. So I said, what is the Fourth PSYOP group? The Fourth PSYOP group is a U.S. Army unit focused on information warfare and influencing operations. So keep that in mind. I've got influencing operations, information warfare capitalized there in my post. And what is the main goal of the Q Intel operation? If you guessed information warfare, then have a cookie. You're awesome. Q4499 posted 6/22/2020, the same date as Ezra Cohen's post in 2025. So it's a 5-year delta. Says information warfare Q. Ezra Cohen is pointing to this Q drop with his post. And I've got Q4499 at the bottom right of the screen there, and you can see for yourself. Q says information warfare Q. So Ezra Cohen is pointing to the Ghost in the Machine video, which is from the Fourth PSYOP group, and that was from their official page on YouTube. Again, I've played it in the show. And the Fourth PSYOP group specializes in information warfare. So I just wanted to make that little quick Q connection there. You got anything you want to bring up on that, Parabellum?
No, I got nothing on that. I don't really follow it. I'm not sure, but okay. I'm taking in the info.
Okay. I thought it was really interesting. So we'll get into this next one here real quick. This is about the New York mayoral candidate. What the crap's his name?
Mamdani.
What?
Mamdani.
Mamdani. Yeah.
Yep. Mamdani. Yep.
Mamdani.
Yes.
So General Flynn had posted this on X, and he was talking about all the stuff that he's against. And this was actually on Fox News today while I was at work. It came on there, but he's against abolishing the New York Police Department. He's against abolishing prisons. Or not against.
No, he's for it.
That's what I meant. He's for it. My bad. I meant he's for it. But anyway, he's for abolishing the New York Police Department. He's for abolishing prisons. He's for abolishing medical bills. He's for abolishing private health care insurance. He's for abolishing, or he's for banning of guns. He's for legalizing sex work. Like, look at all this stuff. Safe
Good Lord.
sites, ending cash bail.
Decriminalizing drug possession. What's wrong with this man?
Like, okay. So, all this stuff that we've got here with him, I thought there is no way this is real. Like, Q says, what makes a good movie? Good actors.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines is what it was. But anyway, like, I thought this can't be real. This guy has to be some kind of plant put into place to make the left look even more stupid and undesirable than what they already are, just to kind of push the narrative along is what I was.
They basically booted up the elf lord of the Democrats. He is the worst of the worst.
So I made this
friend Mamdani.
Yeah, center screen. I'd made this post on X, and I said, "Wow, can't help but laugh at him with all Mamdani with all this that was said." Is this dude an actor meant to make the left look ridiculous, or is he really this stupid? Or on a side note, everything that we have seen happen lately seems to be building to something big. Flynn made this post at 6:02. Check out Q1802. Something big is about to drop. So again, if you go back to the left side of your screen, bottom right there under NYSC SOS, you see the timestamp on Flynn's post, which I have highlighted in green. It's 6:02. And then if you look at the center of the screen right under my thing, I've got 6:02, which converts in the military time 18:02. So you convert that, open up Q1802, and it says something big is about to drop. And then I'd thought about that a little bit, and we're in June. Getting ready to hit July. And one of the things that made me think that something may happen in August was Q3529. And Q3529 says the month of August is traditionally a hot month. And I said, are we going to see something big, some big info drop in August? So, there's that. Let's keep eyes on it and see what happens in August, because I think there's a lot of stuff building right now. You've got the whole stuff with, we talked about this previous show, Epstein files coming out. We've got this whole Iran thing and the push for Abraham Accord to be expanded. And then, there is so much, it's hard to keep up with it all, but I think something big, and I've been talking about this on my Facebook account for a while. And I post to Facebook a lot, more than I do X, because I feel like I'm inside of an echo chamber in X sometimes, because most of the people that I follow and most of the people that's on there already know pretty much what's up. But so I try to get outside the box and get outside the echo chamber, and I try to post stuff on Facebook. That's why I chose to start this show on YouTube instead of Rumble, and we're just now getting to Rumble. But anyway, I think something big is about to drop. I've been getting at that. What's your thoughts on something maybe possibly big hitting Parabellum?
That's something, it reminds me of sitting at the kitchen table having a few drinks with a buddy of mine, Rick Mead. I just call him Pap. We'd sit around at the table, and for numerous times we'd always come to, something big has to happen before change happens. And that's kind of what it comes to on me, on my conservative viewpoint. Look, the pot starts boiling and it starts to boil over. Something big has always got to happen, before change, real positive change or negative change can happen. It's got to pop off. So I think that's exactly where we're at. You got a lot of things that have happened here recently, and it's really moving at a fast pace. With the 12-day war, and then, the impeachment trial of Trump, and then you see the accountability of all the, everything that's going on with that. Yeah, something's going to happen. I don't know what it is yet, but it's just common sense for me in my simple Southern living that it's got to boil up before it boils over.
Yeah. Yep. I do honestly believe though something big is coming. Before we get into, actually, let's flip these around because we'll save the best for last. Let's do no, not let's save our badass clips. Let's start with some bonus memes because we got.
Hold on a second. I got the Supreme Court decisions. You want me to bring up that PowerPoint representation?
Oh yeah. Okay, I forgot all about that. I apologize.
That is okay. We definitely got a report on the Supreme Court decisions that came down today.
Yeah, Parabellum has got a really nice PowerPoint presentation of the Supreme Court decisions.
Don't worry, it's not death by PowerPoint. Very quick. All right, so guys, today there was 6 different decisions that came down out of the Supreme Court. I'm not going to go into full detail. You know, I can give you the basic gist of what's going on. But let me pull up my screen here real quick, and we will go through what I have.
Yeah, I almost, like I said, I had completely, I thought we were going to do it at the top of the show that you were going to bring it up, but.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Can you see my screen? Is that shared the stage?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, cool deal. So
just biggie size it.
We'll just go ahead and move it. Is that better? Can you make it full screen for the viewers?
Yeah, I got it full screen.
All right, cool deal. So this is the SCOTUS decisions that came down today. The first decision that came out early this morning was over birthright citizenship. That's Trump versus Casa Incorporated. It was huge wins for Donald Trump all day long. It's huge wins all day long for the Donald Trump agenda and the conservative viewpoint agenda, absolutely across the board. So starting off with birthright citizenship, the Supreme Court favored President Trump 6-3. And the thing about it is the Supreme Court actually decided to make no decision on birthright citizenship itself. It was actually punted back to the President Trump or the Trump administration, and basically allows them to come up with a little bit more information before they represent it back to SCOTUS. But it does leave the door open for future endeavors to stop birthright citizenship, which is definitely something that President Trump stands for and something that I stand for. I do believe that this is something that has been taken advantage of. And we all know that birthright citizenship, thanks to President Donald Trump's comments saying that there are mainly for black slaves, and that's what they were for around 1866 after the Civil War. It's definitely up for a huge debate. But what it all basically came down to, which was something we didn't see happening with the birthright citizenship, was that it limits the power of a judge's ability to universally block President Trump's executive orders. So this is ginormous. This is huge. So anybody knows that there's been at least 5 judges in multiple districts that are, every time President Trump comes out with an executive order, they're able to lay down a universal judgment just as one single judge and blanket it across the entire United States of America and essentially stop President Trump from enacting his executive orders. What this does from the Supreme Court ruling today is they told them pretty much, you're not allowed to do that anymore. It's not going to happen. A single judge is not allowed to be able to block President Trump's executive orders. So that's for the first decision. And again, like I said, that's a huge win for anybody on the conservative side of the aisle today. So you can take your time and look into that a little bit more. Again, this is just a basic premises of what happened today. We got the second and third decision. So number 2, LGBTQ plus storybook telling. So what was happening is that in a lot of the schools across the United States, were a lot of the teachers were introducing LGBTQ plus storybook and Mahmoud versus Taylor. It was again ruled 6-3 that the Supreme Court sided with the parents. This is a huge win for the parents. Parents challenged the Montgomery County Board of Education's introduction of certain LGBTQ plus inclusive storybooks. They were challenging those books showing up in their schools, said, we don't like this. They also challenged the the board's decision to withhold parental opt-outs for that instruction. So basically what that means is that teachers basically said, you're not allowed to opt your children out of this because this is our curriculum and we're teaching it. You don't have the power. The Supreme Court came down and they basically put the power into parents' hands again. This is huge for anybody that has a child, especially with a conservative or independent view belief, or, you know, somebody that just doesn't have the LGBTQ plus belief in their family, maybe not even, you know, politically motivated. Parents are absolutely allowed to now, after the ruling, opt out or excuse their children from classes that will be teaching LGBTQ plus criteria by reason of religious freedom. Again, religious freedom is the biggest citation for this. It's for any parents that want to say that they have religious freedom and would not like their child to be able to be a part of the LGBTQ plus inclusive storybooks or readings or any kind of material that's included in their curriculum. Again, this didn't exactly remove all CRT or LGBTQ plus material from all schools. But what this does do is it opens up the door for a lot of other states to be able to push for that agenda. It starts here, and then, you know, at time and multiple court hearings and proceedings, maybe we'll be able to remove that stuff from our children's schools. Number 3, this is a common sense one that came down from the Supreme Court. It was the Texas age verification for porn sites. This is the Free Speech Coalition Incorporated versus Paxton. Again, SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, voted in favor 6-3. And you know something that's questionable about this one for me. You want to get age verification for porn sites, and you still had 3 Democrat appointed judges who voted against it. If that tells you anything about the mentality and the mindset of the Democratic Party and how far left and lost they are to vote against this, I don't know what does. This is common sense. We got to protect our minors and our children. The Texas Supreme Court ruling on porn verification, specifically upholding Texas Bill 1181, affects all of the United States. You know, that was something that I was questioning initially. Yeah, it's Texas, but is this going to be able to open up doors for the rest of the states to be able to ask for age verification for porn sites? While the law itself is specific to Texas, the Supreme Court's decision establishes a legal precedent that could influence similar laws in other states. And I just want to ask you, Hex, you don't know anything about porn site age verification in Kentucky, do you? Like, you haven't actually been on any of those sites, have you?
No.
Well, you ain't seen that yet? Oh, I must be the only one.
No, I didn't. Is there like an age verification now for it?
There's absolutely an age verification on Pornhub and a lot of other sites, even in Kentucky. So Kentucky's already started this process.
When I was a kid, like my dad just gave me a penthouse and was like, here, you'll figure it out.
Oh, I know. It was, you just flip pages. Lord, horrible. How far we've come. Decision number 4, which I felt was a really huge decision. Now, this goes on to one of the highly contested topics that we haven't had on our show quite yet, but I do feel like eventually we're going to have to say something about this topic of abortion. But decision number 4 from the Supreme Court of the United States today was the Atlantic versus South Carolina. And it basically says South Carolina's ban on Medicaid for Planned Parenthood services. Okay, so Supreme Court ruled in favor of the state of South Carolina, again, 6-3. Federal dollars, however, it's nice to know federal dollars cannot be used for abortion due to the Hyde Amendment. And what is the Hyde Amendment? Well,
yeah,
this
I was getting ready to say, what is the Hyde Amendment?
Exactly. So the Hyde Amendment, this is an amendment that was first introduced in 1976, and it prevents the use of federal funds for abortion services, with exceptions for cases of rape, incest, or when the life of the mother is at risk. So this was at 1976 with exceptions, and it'll let you know how long we've been going back and forth about the abortion deal. But when it goes back to the Supreme Court of the United States, it says that they support the state of South Carolina to remove Medicaid from funding for non-abortion services from the Medicaid program. The ruling stated that Medicaid can only go to qualified medical providers, and Planned Parenthood is not a qualified medical provider, according to the Supreme Court of the United States. So basically, the way that it looks at this is because of the Hyde Amendment, Planned Parenthood could not get federal funding, but they found a way around that by introducing alternative modes of contraception, STD treatments, and things like that they do provide for multiple people. But this is exactly how they got their funding. And the South Carolina recognized this, and they said, you know what? That's absolute bullcrap. You're using all that to be able to fund your abortion services. And I don't think that's correct at all. And I think a lot of Americans, at least over 50%, are going to agree with that.
We were talking about this pre-show, and I was telling you, and I think you was kind of agreeing with me on this. A lot of these abortion clinics, or a couple of these abortion clinics, I think there's one in particular that was in the documentary I had watched, Fall of the Cabal, that Real AF Patriot had put out.
Mm-hmm.
And this abortion clinic was right next door to, I think it was some kind of company that either made cosmetic products or adrenochrome or, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And these fetuses or, stuff like that was going in to the, right across the street to this place. And they were, using these aborted fetuses to make their adrenochrome. And if anybody doesn't know what the adrenochrome stuff is, it's actually a real thing, because this goes back to, I think it was the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. There was some testing with that kind of stuff, and they had wanted to find out if they used mice, and they wanted to find out if they surgically attached a young mouse to an old mouse, if that old mouse, if it would extend his life.
Yeah.
So they done that, and then they, and again, keep in mind, this was in the 60s. They done that and found out that if they scared the young mouse, that he would produce adrenaline, and that adrenaline was one of the key things that helped the older mouse live longer.
Yeah.
And they done studies on this. So I've never seen the Frazzle drip video that talks about Hillary Clinton and how, I'm not even going to go, like, it's disgusting what happened.
Yeah.
It was Hillary Clinton and a child. You guys go look it up for yourself and read about it if you want to. You probably won't find the video, but it was pretty sick. But it involved scaring a child, and then it involved the whole adrenochrome thing.
Oh Lord.
And the blood of the child. That's all I'll say. But this whole thing with the abortion, abortion clinics and the Planned Parenthood stuff, get rid of it. Get that shit out of here.
Absolutely. We got to get rid of it. And that's kind of the beginning of the end right here. But for me, I feel like this is the beginning of the end for Planned Parenthood. Although it doesn't directly affect their abortion services, it does indirectly affect them. And I promise you, it's going to cost them all kinds of funding, and they may have to end up closing their doors. So what this does is it opens the door to devastate Planned Parenthood, and ultimately allows other states the ability to follow suit. So all other states that agree with South Carolina and the Supreme Court on this, they can also follow suit and then begin to ban the non-abortion funding for Planned Parenthood. And that's where they get the majority of their funding. So just think about that, ladies and gentlemen. If the majority of your funding comes from non-abortion services, and you are known for abortion services and treatment, then I promise you, you're going to have an adverse effect to your business. Just a little fun fact that I had to put in here in bold letters. If you don't know what Planned Parenthood is, they will tell you they have all these other things like contraceptive, preventive treatment, STD treatment, and this, that, and another. But to me, I believe that is a falsehood and a cover for what it is they actually do, which is abortions. That is what Planned Parenthood does. They kill babies. And you can look this up on Google or look it up any way that you would like to, Google Scholar. In 2022 to 23, Planned Parenthood performed 402,230 abortions. In 1 year alone, they performed 402,230 abortions. This represents a 2% increase from the previous year and a 23% increase since 2013. So if you don't think they're getting rich off creating these abortions with this
and people
ideology, you're crazy.
People lost their mind over the whole Roe versus Wade ruling. They don't get it. They don't understand.
Yeah.
This is deeper than what, like, what's the word? They're sheep. These people that lost their mind over it.
Absolute sheep.
They don't dig and look and see what the actual, all the other stuff underneath this ruling that this affects.
This big one is such a
what they
controversial.
were actually doing with this abortion stuff. Like people just don't pay attention. People, wake up.
Absolutely. Yeah, that one is going to stir a lot of emotions out of a lot of people, but I feel that it's important that they know what the Supreme Court of the United States decided on this. And if SCOTUS decided that it was improper, I can almost promise you that it's absolutely improper. No matter what you hear from maybe your far left liberal friend who says, no, we need those abortions, or whatever you might see on Facebook or YouTube or Rumble that says the opposite of what you just seen here. Anybody with a moral compass knows this is incorrect.
Yeah. You got more to your slide, or was that
no? That was just it. I just wanted to go out. There were some other things that actually went down. There were two more rulings. I think with the Obamacare Affordable Care Act, that was another one. Basically, it again withstand the test of time. You can't touch the Affordable Care Act. Don't do it. And that was in the Supreme Court of the United States. There was another one, but I'm not really familiar with it.
I don't know about everybody else. We had some big wins today, and
that's huge for the American people.
Is anybody like we've had a lot of wins since Trump's been in office? Is anybody getting sick of winning yet? I'm not. I fucking love it. Give us more.
Yes, we need more. We need more.
Said we will win so much you will be sick of it. Well, I'm not sick of it yet. We've had a hell of a lot of wins.
Trump said he was going to do this, and keep in mind, and that first decision right there for birthright citizenship, that was President Trump versus Casa. Okay, that was directly related to President Trump. And although they didn't come to a birthright decision on that, it's okay. They left the door open for President Trump to come back. So keep that in mind, people. Don't lose your shit. Don't lose your heads. Okay, The door's still open. What is great is that the radical judges that are stopping all of the executive orders that President Trump is putting out, that's over with, ladies and gentlemen. It's done.
All right. So
we
want to get into some memes.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't have a lot of them. I just kind of snagged a few out of the news feeds. I thought this one was pretty truthful right here. Obama negotiates with Iran. Trump negotiates with Iran.
Yeah, Obama gave $1.7 billion to Iran. And then here's Trump negotiating with Iran. We got the B-2 bombers. We're coming in with bunker busters, baby. I love it.
We got this one. I love this one. Was absolute gold truth right here. I don't know who done it. Hats off to him, but when Trump destroys the facilities you help pay for, because you had Obama sending pallets of cash.
Absolutely. That's great. I love it.
And then let's take a peek.
I
at this
thrive
one.
off liberal tears.
Yeah, me too. Iran's top secret nuclear weapons facility. Looks like a big fucking crater to me.
That's all that's left, man.
But the best one that I've only got one more, and it was I'll save the best for last. This one, I was at work when I seen this one, and I absolutely just had tears in my eyes. One like and all bomb Iran. That's from Donald Trump. Well, this is actually not. It's not real, but and then somebody had put Donald Trump liking it, his own post, and then he says, "Say no more."
That's great.
I love that one. Let's get into some badass clips. Got any? Let's see here. Hold on one second. Yeah, let's.
I love it.
I love it.
All right.
Great.
Let's see what we got here for badass clips. Let's start off with where'd it go? Where you at? There you are.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Sorry. It's me. Here we go.
Hey, free world. Who you gonna call?
Is there something wrong?
Oh yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, this is good.
Who you gonna call? Bomb buster. If you wanna clear the world of nuclear threat, who you gonna call? Bomb buster. I ain't afraid of no bombs. Donald, I don't allow you no bombs. You're a butt fucking quitter.
So,
dude, AI's getting insane, man.
Like I was sitting here just jamming out to that, thinking Ghostbusters. But
I love it, dude.
Trump, remember we've had this a couple times here this past week, from last weekend on the show, the whole Bomb Iran song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this blew my mind that Trump actually on Truth Social posted this with the Bomb Iran. And I was like, oh my God, that's freaking
that's
epic.
great, dude.
So
epic troller.
I went on his Truth Social yesterday and I made this little video clip, but check this shit out.
Bomb, bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. My country's got a feeling really in the ceiling. Bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Went to a mosque, gonna throw some rocks. Tell the Ayatollah, gonna put you in a box. Bomb, Iran. Bomb, bomb, bomb,
the ultimate troller, President Trump. I love it.
Sam's getting pretty hot. Time to turn Iran into a parking lot. Bomb Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb Iran. The country's got a feeling really in the ceiling. Bomb Iran. Bomb Iran.
Oh,
my God, dude.
Big, beautiful bombs.
I get the feeling that
he is the master troller.
After he posted that, I get the feeling he was just sitting in the Oval Office, just maybe like rubbing on a bunker buster or something like that.
Oh, love it. You got any more? You got any more? I got a couple more. You got anything?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, I've got you got JD Vance coming back for he recounted the story of the big red button. For anybody that didn't hear it, that's a funny joke. That's absolutely hilarious. And then, of course, President Trump dropping the F-bomb on Israel and Iran.
I've got the F-bomb. I'm saving it for last because I've kind of made my own little take on the F-bomb and added a little bonus clip at the end of it.
Okay, that's great. What about the Trump red button?
Yeah, do the red button. Let's hit the red button, baby. Let's go.
All right. So for anybody that didn't see this is, it came back whenever JD Vance and President Donald Trump was first coming into office. They were campaigning at the time. JD Vance initially told this story about President Trump and some of their interactions together. But recently in News Today, he has recounted the story and it's starting a wildfire about the big red button video. If you haven't seen it, just take a seat and listen.
And the president looks over at me, puts the foreign leader on mute and says, "This is not going very well." And he presses the red button. and my eyes get really big and I'm like, "Mr. President, what just happened?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Nuclear. Nuclear." And 2 minutes later, a guy walks in with a Diet Coke and he looks back at me and he says, "It wasn't nuclear, it's just the Diet Coke button." And that's so that's the kind of guy, and my fellow Republicans, that we have as the President of the United States.
That is great, dude. That is awesome. So that does give a little bit of insight to the humor of President Donald Trump, who can be so serious yet still have a humorous side while taking care of big things that are going on in the world, dude. The big red button.
We've got I don't think that's mine. Did we miss a video of yours that DIDDY RICO over there on the right? Is that
no? Your video basically played it out. It was good. We don't have to play that one.
Okay. What about the TDS badass you got over there?
Well, here's one that I got, and I thought it was great. It's another one. This is from Jersey Shore. It may be old, but you guys check it out. It is still great for a badass clip. Explaining from Jersey Shore, I think it's Jesse from Jersey Shore, explaining the effects of Trump derangement syndrome before and after.
You, just like Rosie O'Donnell, have Trump derangement syndrome. And I want to show you something, Piers Trump. Look at this. This is Rosie O'Donnell before Trump, right? Nice, good. Look what happens, Piers, with Trump derangement syndrome, all right? Rachel Maddow. Look at how hot Rachel Maddow was. And then look, Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh,
She
my
looks like
God.
Stephen Colbert. And then look, Kathy Griffin, someone that I might have hooked up with while I was drunk. They turned her into Carrot Top, okay?
Carrot Top.
Oh, you know better than that, dude. That was great trolling.
That was awesome.
Loved it.
I got one from the riots here. Check this dude out with a frying pan beating the fuck out of some libtard leftists.
Oh, good job. Oh, man.
Little mouth on him, bing, 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 bing. Little mouth on him, bing, 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 bing.
That was the frying pan. Bing, 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 bing.
I feel like there'd be a great parody with that. More cowbell. More cowbell.
Yeah.
Maybe the intro to a
Oh,
Kiss song.
I have got to clip that little thing that the frying pan hits out
It's
and,
gonna
and
be a
have
ding,
Will Ferrell
ding.
doing the
Absolutely. More cowbell. That'd be great, dude.
let's see what else have I got here. Oh, check this one out. This is an old retro song. Bev would like this song. It's got a new twist on it, but check it out.
Oh, right on.
You were the girl that changed my world. You were the girl for me. You lit the fuse. I stand accused. You were the first for me, but you turned me out. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. You dropped the bomb on me, but you turned me on. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. You dropped the bomb.
Holy crap. It's getting crazy out there in the AI world today, man. It's getting crazy in AI stuff they pull off.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're okay.
Had to step away for a second. Let's see. Yeah, that you dropped the bomb on me.
Yeah.
Love that. Have you got another one?
No, that was it for me, I think, for the badass memes tonight.
Okay. What the heck is that?
Oh, that's your
Oh,
video.
wait. Yeah, okay. All right. So I've got I saved the best for last, and I've edited this one a little bit toward the end. We're gonna biggie size it, full screen it until close to the end, then I'll kind of bring it back down to reaction.
Okay.
Let's check this out.
They violated, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that? I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Absolutely.
They don't know what the they're doing.
It's so good, man. I had that on repeat, dude. Like when that came out here in the last week, just listen to it over and over. What a leader.
Expect that on our soundbite board in future shows because
I love it.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to be on the soundbite board. I've already got it ready to go.
Oh, you already got it? I was going to clip it if you got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'll get it. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys,
that's it for our first show, right?
First show on
introduction
Rumble.
to Rumble. Yep.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know how many. I didn't look to see how many we had watching over on Rumble. But again, we're new at this. Same cues, different views. We're learning as we go. Bear with us and hit the thumbs up on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. Please go down there and smash that thumbs up.
Like and subscribe, baby.
Yep. Share the show. Get us out there. I'm not the best Q decoder, but I do the best I can with it. Parabellum is bringing the Q and the actual news,
conservative logical news, and that's kind of what the show's about. But we're going to head out of here. It's the weekend. We've been on since 8, so we're actually 2 hours 19 minutes, so we done pretty good tonight. It's a good show, man.
Peace out, everybody. You got any closing words?
That's it. See, we pack 'em, Parabellum.
Peace out. God bless. And where we go one, we go all. And we're going to scoot out of here. Good night, guys.